Okay, so we are back with part 2 of our open book segment of Open Soul Sessions. I'm your open book segment correspondent, Iyanna, Nana Soul Jones. And we are here with, and I'm very excited, Cheryl Clarke, who is a poet inspired by the Black arts movement. She's the author of 4 poetry anthologies and a critical study of Black women, or Black women in the arts movement, and it's called After Mecca. And she has a new manuscript that is entitled Corridors of Nostalgia, which is due to be published in 2011. Cheryl also is a former teacher of mine, and I have to say one of the reasons why I ever wrote poetry. She inspired me to, work on my craft and not take things personally from a political perspective. So we're going to hear some great things from her tonight, and I'm really excited. I want to talk to you about why it is important to create, and not just from the standpoint of personal expression, but why it is important to make things in the world, how that influences other people, and why is it important to be a Black woman that is creating in the world, and how does that impact on our society? Even how should it impact on our society?
Well, I have to go back to a period that your previous guest, Laura Whitehorn, was speaking of, and I take my tutelage and my leadership from the Black arts movement, and I learned my craft. I learned to write poetry by listening to the poets of the Black arts movement. Your other question about why it's important for Black women to create, because it has been so easy for Black women to be erased from history. So one of the commitments, I think women of my generation, women who grew out of the 1960s and the Black arts movement, we learned to not only put Black people in history, but put Black women in history. And I've spent, I guess, the last half of my life or more being committed to a Black feminist, actually, and a Black lesbian feminist perspective in terms of creating and recreating our stories. So that's why I create, that's why I write, to keep us in history.
One of the things that's interesting is that when you were teaching me, just for the edification of the audience, it was the Cave Canem workshop, and it's supposed to be a safe space for Black poets to create. And I remember that particular workshop had to do with you not just being a poet, but being political. And really trying to explore ways for your art to be political and to have some kind of impact on society. And it's interesting because everything now with the arts is being pushed toward, just express yourself, So what you're finding is that people are writing things or they're performing, and it's like they're writing in their diary. It doesn't really impact people in a way to make them think differently about their existence. And so do you think that it's important for us to be political about things that, for the most part, people think shouldn't be politicized, like relationships?
Well, I guess I agree with you. I think everything is political, and it's, but if you want to fight against the prevailing culture, if you want to change some things, if you want to change that system, then I guess it's important for one to write in a way that'll do that. Now, I used to think everybody should do it that way, but I guess I have to take responsibility for myself, and I guess I have to say I'm committed to doing it that way, and I want to be with people like the lovely people here who are committed to doing that.
I know for a fact that you're committed. Everybody, you're in for a treat. You're about to hear some powerful stuff that is elegant and subtle but powerful. And without further ado, Cheryl Clarke.